Big bro, there's your ice cream store. David's eyes lit up as he pointed ahead. Daniel smiled, squeezed his little brother's hand, as they walked hand in hand toward the shop. But, just as they neared it, they passed a dim alleyway. Asterisk, can you imagine what they heard next? Stay tuned to Dark Voices to find out. Asterisk, help. Someone help me. I was mugged. I'm bleeding. A faint, trembling voice came from the shadows. The boys stopped. The voice was so weak, it was barely audible, but it was enough to make them freeze in place. Daniel, I think someone's in there, David whispered, squinting toward the alley. Let's not. We came here for ice cream, remember? We could get into trouble, Daniel said, tugging David's hand. Just as they were about to walk away, they saw a figure, dirty, bloodied, crawling out of the alley. Ah! The boys screamed, startled by the ghostly sight. No one else was around to see it. The street was quiet. Asterisk, what would you do if you saw this? Keep watching Dark Voices for the shocking twist. Asterisk, that's a person. He's really bleeding, David said nervously. We should help him. No, we're just kids. What could we even do? Daniel argued. I think he fainted. Daniel, what do we do? Let's get help. Wait, no. We'll just get in trouble if we leave. Grab his other hand. We'll pull him somewhere someone can see him. Without further question, David obeyed. They carefully checked to make sure the man was lying face up, then gently started dragging him out of the alley. He's heavy, David winced. What if we hurt him more or bump his head? Pull slowly, Daniel reminded, straining to drag the man carefully. After a few minutes of struggling, they had barely managed to get him past the alley's opening. What the hell? A nurse in blue scrubs ran up, eyes wide in disbelief. What happened? Where did you come from? Why are you dragging a bleeding, unconscious man? She fired off in panic. The boys froze. They didn't even get a chance to speak. Nurse Kate had already called for emergency help. An orderly came with a stretcher and lifted the man inside. Nurse Kate kept her eyes glued on the twins, refusing to let them out of her sight. No matter where you go in life, even if you travel halfway across the world, fate will always find a way to bring you back to the person you're meant to meet. Those were the first words of a different chapter. The story of Lucy. Lucy, you're finally here, Ashley greeted cheerfully. Am I late? Sorry, something came up earlier, Lucy said as she kissed her friend on the cheek. Did you guys already start? They were in a bustling restaurant downtown, seated at a large table meant for the whole friend group. They had gathered to finalize plans for Ashley's birthday celebration the following day. We haven't started yet, but we should. Looks like the boys just got here, Sam said excitedly. Lucy turned toward the door and instantly lost her smile. Her mood soured the moment she laid eyes on the one person she least wanted to see. Their eyes met. Hey, Lucy, how are you? Jacob greeted her cautiously. You sure you want me to answer that? She shot back, her tone sharp. The atmosphere shifted. Lucy, I know it's awkward, but you're going to have to deal with Luke eventually, Ashley said gently. He's my boyfriend's cousin, and they're always together. He's kind of part of the group now. Never going to happen. Don't worry, I can handle myself, Lucy said with her chin held high. You're clearly bothered, Luke muttered under his breath, but just loud enough for Lucy to hear. What did you say? Lucy snapped. You always start this. You want to fight again, huh? She shot to her feet, glaring at him. Don't act like a child. You're embarrassing yourself, Luke said flatly. Excuse me? You're calling me a child? Before she could finish her rant, Kyle, Ashley's boyfriend, intervened. Enough. We're here to plan a birthday, not witness another round of your bickering, he said firmly. Lucy sat back down, fuming quietly. They proceeded to plan the celebration, an exclusive pool party at Ashley's parents' mansion. As they discussed logistics, Lucy pointedly avoided even glancing at Luke. Just the sight of him made her blood boil. Hours passed, and the group eventually dispersed. Lucy and Sam headed home together since they lived in the same apartment complex. "You're still mad at Luke?" Sam asked in the cab. "Seriously? It was just a misunderstanding. It's not like he committed a crime." "Sam, it was last month. I left the line at my favorite bakery for just 1 minute to pee, and he swooped in and bought the last loaf of the bread I was craving. Then, instead of apologizing, he got mad at me for being upset." Sam sighed. Convincing Lucy of anything was like trying to move a mountain. "I swear I will never get over that," Lucy muttered. The days flew by, and soon it was Ashley's birthday. The simple celebration was held at her family's home, a big house with a backyard pool, just as they had planned. "Come on, Lucy, where's your swimsuit?" "Don't tell me you're wearing jeans and a shirt," Ashley asked with a pout. "Didn't you agree we'd all wear swimsuits today?" Lucy wasn't one to wear swimsuits. She typically preferred shorts and a crop top when swimming, but she had agreed just to make her friend happy. "Maybe later, Ash. It's still early, and I'm not sure I'll even swim." "I might get cold," Lucy replied with a hesitant smile. "Cold? You've got such thick skin. Just admit it." "You don't want to show off your tattoos or scars," Luke suddenly chimed in, a little tipsy already. "You're so rude," Lucy snapped. "You haven't even seen my body, so shut up. Don't join in conversations where you're not invited. It just makes you look like a jerk." "Oh, really? I'm just speaking the truth." Lucy rolled her eyes, grabbed the drink in front of her, and downed it in one gulp. Ashley exchanged glances with Kyle and signaled for him to get Luke away from her. For the next few hours, they did everything they could to keep Lucy and Luke from interacting. But eventually, the games began, and they couldn't avoid each other anymore. "Truth or dare, if you don't want to answer or do the dare, you drink this whole glass of liquor," Sam explained excitedly. "Whoever the bottle points to has to take the question or dare from the person opposite them." Everyone nodded and gathered in a circle. Ashley spun the empty bottle, and as it slowly came to a stop, "Lucy, your turn," Ashley laughed. Everyone looked to see who would ask Lucy the question. And the laughter instantly died. The person across from her was Luke. "Truth or dare?" he asked, his tone serious. Lucy, already buzzed, didn't hesitate. She grabbed a glass of liquor and downed it quickly, even though it burned going down. "What the hell, Lucy?" Sam groaned. "He hadn't even asked you a question or dare." "Let it go," Ashley said with a smirk. "There's no rule against drinking right away." Sam and the others reluctantly let it pass. The bottle spun again. This time it pointed to Luke. "Truth or dare?" Lucy asked, grinning. Now Luke didn't respond with words. He simply picked up a glass and drank it all in one go, just like Lucy had. Lucy burst out laughing and clapped her hands. "Copycat," she teased. "You two are hopeless," Kyle groaned. "Play fair, will you?" "There are no rules against it," Ashley reminded him. "Better this than them ripping each other's hair out." The game continued. Each time the bottle pointed to Lucy or Luke, they both kept drinking. Eventually, they both became so drunk that Ashley had to call it off. "Sam, can you take Lucy to the guest room?" "She can barely walk," Ashley asked. "Sure, I'll get her settled." "I'll put Luke in the other guest room," Kyle added. "He's completely out of it, too." There were 3 guest rooms in Ashley's house, so they had space. She hoped both would sober up before the party ended. After leaving the two to rest, Sam and Kyle returned to the celebration. A few hours later, Lucy stirred. "I'm so thirsty," she murmured, clutching her dry throat. Her head throbbed as she sat up. Still dizzy, she staggered toward the door in search of water. "Where am I?" she mumbled, running her hand along the wall for balance. Unknowingly, she wandered into the wrong guest room, the one next door. "Jacob, is that you? Where can I get something to drink?" "I'm dying of thirst," she groaned, walking toward the bed where a man lay. Too dizzy to think, Lucy climbed onto the mattress and leaned over him. Ugh, you're so annoying, the man groaned. I just want something to drink, Lucy whined. Suddenly, the man grabbed her arms and pushed her to the side, flipping their positions. What are you doing? You're heavy, Lucy murmured, her eyes still closed, her voice slurred. The man, Luke, hadn't fully come to his senses either. His body burned, his vision blurred, and in a daze, he pressed his lips to Lucy's. It all happened so fast. Lucy didn't resist. She kissed him back, wrapped her arms around his neck, deepening the kiss. You taste so good, Luke whispered hoarsely. Lucy could feel every touch, each one igniting heat throughout her body. They didn't stop. Their kisses grew hungrier, their bodies desperate. Moments later, she felt Luke enter her. Neither of them could keep track of how many times they moved until finally they reached their climax. They didn't stop right away. They kept going until they were too exhausted to continue. The morning sun streamed through the glass window. Ow! My head! Lucy groaned as she sat up, massaging her temple. I drank way too much. And what the hell happened last night? Something feels off. She turned and froze. There beside her, sleeping soundly, was Luke. And she had nothing on, not even underwear. What the hell did you do to me? You bastard! She screamed, yanking the blanket over her bare body. You're sick. You took advantage of me. Slap, slap, Lucy hit him repeatedly. What are you talking about? I didn't do anything to you, Luke protested, shocked. Don't lie to me. I'm naked, and I remember what happened. You raped me. Lucy, what's going on here? Ashley gasped as she barged into the room, followed by Sam and Kyle. That man, he assaulted me. He violated me while I was passed out. I want him arrested, Lucy cried. Ashley's face paled. Are you sure, Lucy? Sam asked gently. Because I'm the one who brought you to the guest room. I left you in the other room last night. I never brought you here. Lucy's tears stopped. What are you saying? I came here on my own? She looked around, confused, shaken. Luke snapped, so now I'm the one to blame? I was drunk, too. I had no idea who climbed on top of me last night. If I had known it was you, I wouldn't have wasted my time. That stung. You know what? Don't worry, Luke. I feel the same. I don't want you in my life ever. Stay the hell away from me, Lucy said bitterly, grabbing the blanket and walking out with it wrapped around her. Lucy stopped briefly in the living room and turned to face Ashley. I'm sorry I couldn't be a proper guest at your birthday, Ash, but I really can't stay another second in that house with that man. I hope you understand. And please don't ever mention what happened today. Not to anyone. Thank you, and happy birthday. Before Ashley could respond, Lucy stormed out the door with the blanket still draped over her shoulders like a makeshift dress. She hailed a cab and went straight back to her apartment. The following days, Lucy made every effort to avoid Luke. She didn't want to see his face ever again. Our business is expanding in the States, Lucy's father, Daniel, said seriously over dinner one evening. I need to send someone I trust to oversee operations. When would that be? Asked her mother, Diane. Before Daniel could answer, Lucy abruptly stood up and rushed to the bathroom, then began vomiting violently. Lucy, are you okay? Diane followed her with furrowed brows. Lucy didn't reply, her body shaking as she retched over the toilet. Did you eat something spoiled? You should see a doctor, Daniel said, appearing in the doorway, concerned. Lucy, their only daughter, meant the world to them. When she finished, she looked at them with glassy eyes. Tears streamed down her face. I'm pregnant, she said, barely above a whisper. Both her parents froze in shock. Diane stepped forward, helped her up, and wrapped her in a tight hug. It's going to be okay. We're not going to judge you. We're here for you. Just tell us who the father is. We'll help you with everything, Diane whispered. I don't know who he is, Lucy lied. It was just one night. I woke up and he was gone. I only just found out I was pregnant. I don't want to get rid of the baby. I tried to find the guy, but I didn't even know his name. She couldn't bear to tell them the truth about Luke. She didn't want him to be part of her or her baby's life. Her anger toward him had only grown, but not toward the child. She was determined to raise the baby with or without him as long as her parents accepted her. I get that you don't want to get married right now, Lucy, her father said, clearly disappointed. But you're going to carry a child whose father you don't even know. What kind of decision is that? Daniel, don't take it out on our daughter, Diane intervened. What's important is she's safe. We can help her raise the baby. She needs us now more than ever. Don't add to her stress. Daniel exhaled deeply, but didn't argue. He couldn't disown Lucy. They ultimately chose to support her decision. Diane agreed to accompany her to the States so she could focus on her pregnancy in peace. The months passed quickly, and Lucy eventually gave birth to twin boys, Daniel and David, while still in the U.S. with her mother by her side. 6 years went by. The twins grew into bright, polite, and well-mannered boys. They had learned to speak both English and Filipino. Lucy, now a doctor, returned briefly to the Philippines for work at a private hospital built by her parents. If it were up to me, I'd never have come back to the Philippines, she muttered under her breath as she entered the hospital. If I didn't have to be at the hospital, I wouldn't be here at all. Good evening, Dr. Lucy. We're just waiting on you in the operating room, a nurse said cheerfully as she greeted her inside. Thanks. Could you please keep an eye on my kids? I don't have anyone else to watch them. Just make sure they stay where you can see them. I won't be long, Lucy requested while holding each boy's hand. Thanks to her continued education in the States and the support of her parents, Lucy had finished medical school. The road hadn't been easy, but she was finally seeing the results of her hard work. Yes, doctor. I'll take care of them, the nurse replied warmly. Lucy nodded, kissed her boys, and headed straight to the operating room. While Lucy was in surgery, her twins waited in the hospital's children's play area with Nurse Kate watching over them. Hey, bro, I've got some money. Let's buy ice cream, David whispered. There's no ice cream in here. I saw a vendor outside earlier, but Nurse Kate is watching us. How are we going to sneak out? What if we tell her we want some milk? Maybe she'll go get it. They called Kate over and told her they were thirsty. All right, but stay here. There are other nurses around, so don't go anywhere, she said before walking away. As soon as she turned her back, the twins snuck out of the playground and slipped through the hospital lobby. Look, there's the ice cream stand, David said excitedly, pointing ahead. They held hands as they ran toward it. Just before they got there, they passed a dark alley. Help, please. I was attacked. I'm bleeding. A voice called from within. The twins stopped cold. Daniel, someone's in there, David said. Let's not. We came here for ice cream. We'll just get into trouble, Daniel replied. But before they could move, a man, bloody and crawling, emerged from the alley. Ah, they screamed again. He looked like a ghost. No one else was around. He's really bleeding, David whispered. I think he passed out. What do we do? Let's pull him toward the street. Maybe someone will see, Daniel suggested. David didn't argue. They checked that the man was face up, then began to drag him carefully toward the hospital. He's too heavy. What if we hurt him more? Just be careful. Don't yank. Eventually, they were stopped again by a shocked and frantic nurse, Kate. What the hell? Where did you get this unconscious, bleeding man? The boys couldn't respond right away. Kate had already called for help. He was brought into the ER as Kate kept the twins close, determined not to lose them again. We just wanted ice cream, but we found him crawling and bleeding. We didn't know what else to do, they said tearfully. Kate let out a long sigh. These kids were unlike any she'd ever met. Lucy emerged from the operating room just as everything was calming down. "What happened?" she asked as she approached Nurse Kate and her two sons, who were seated quietly on the hallway bench. "Did something go wrong? Were they being difficult?" Kate calmly explained everything. As expected, Lucy scolded the boys. They burst into tears, apologizing repeatedly. She eventually forgave them after they promised not to do it again. "Excuse me, Dr. Lucy," a nurse interrupted. "You're needed in the emergency room. A new patient just arrived. Urgent case." "I'll be right there," Lucy replied, turning to her boys with a firm voice. "Stay with Nurse Kate. Don't wander off. We'll head home soon." The twins nodded. Lucy made her way to the emergency room, where another nurse was waiting to assist her. "He was stabbed and lost a lot of blood. The wound's pretty deep," the nurse briefed her as Lucy examined the patient. She looked up to assess his face and froze. "Luke," she whispered in shock. Though stunned, Lucy forced herself to focus. She tended to him, fighting to maintain concentration. As her mind raced, she managed to treat him successfully. But after the procedure, she took the boys home immediately, saying nothing about what she had discovered. The next day, Lucy was back on duty, this time without the kids. Her parents were now watching over them. "Dr. Lucy, about your patient, the one in recovery now?" Nurse Kate approached. "Turns out he's the same man your sons dragged in yesterday." Lucy was taken aback, but didn't show it. She nodded and went straight to the recovery room to check on him, adjusting the 4-drip connected to his arm. "Where am I?" Luke mumbled, his voice groggy. He looked around the room, his gaze eventually locking with hers. "Lucy, is that you?" "Am I dreaming?" he asked weakly. She said nothing. After finishing what she needed to do, she turned around and walked out of the room. Her heart wasn't pounding. She felt no rush of anger or pain. She had long since moved on. She had let go of everything, especially her bitterness toward Luke. She didn't want to stress over the past anymore. But even with a calm mind, a lingering uneasiness stirred inside her. "I'm really sorry, Dr. Lucy," Nurse Kate said later that day. "But he keeps asking for you. He won't calm down. He's been shouting non-stop. He says he won't relax unless he sees you. We tried to settle him down, but it's no use. Just let him be," Lucy said as she signed a stack of paperwork. "Keep an eye on him. If it gets worse, let me know. I've got things to handle. There's another thing. He wants to meet the kids." The story about what they did to save him is already spreading through the hospital, but no one knows they're your children except me. "I promise I won't tell anyone." Lucy paused and looked at Nurse Kate. "Bring these files to my office." "I'll go see him and shut this thing down myself," she said firmly. Kate took the paperwork, and Lucy left. She walked straight to Luke's room. 2 nurses were inside, trying to settle him. They fell silent and stepped aside as she entered. Lucy waved them off, and they quietly exited the room. "What's your problem?" Lucy asked, raising an eyebrow. "Did you miss me that much you had to make a scene?" Luke stopped pacing, his expression turned serious. He walked toward her, his step steady, and stopped just a few feet away. "I'm sorry," he said softly. Lucy's face changed slightly, but she forced herself to stay composed. "Sorry for what? For making a scene? For embarrassing yourself? Because if that's it, apology accepted. You've only humiliated yourself." "I don't even know exactly what I'm apologizing for," Luke admitted. "But I feel like I have to say it. Seeing you again, Lucy, I'm sorry. If I ever hurt or insulted you, I'm sorry." "Stop. I'm not deaf," Lucy interrupted. "If you don't know why you're apologizing, don't bother. I don't have time for pointless drama. Let's just pretend we never knew each other. We were never close anyway, right? Let's both move on." Luke remained silent as Lucy turned and walked out. Outside, she clutched her chest. Her heart was pounding. Why was she feeling this way again? Calm down, Lucy. Don't let your emotions win. You've changed, she whispered to herself. She composed herself and went back to her office. Days passed, and Luke was discharged. Lucy let the nurses handle everything. She didn't want to see him again, and fortunately, he didn't insist on it. He left quietly. One weekend, Lucy brought the twins to the mall to shop for essentials. "Mommy, can you get us bikes?" "I want the red one," David pleaded excitedly. "Okay, if you behave while I shop," Lucy smiled. "That store looks like it has what you're looking for, Mom," said Leslie, the family's longtime helper, who was accompanying Lucy and the twins. Lucy was about to speak when she suddenly spotted someone up ahead. Her heart skipped. "Leslie, take the boys to the playground." "I'll pick you up there when I'm done," she said quickly. Leslie didn't ask questions. She simply nodded and walked off with the kids. Lucy stayed behind, frozen in place. "Lucy, is that really you?" "Oh my gosh, I thought Luke was joking when he said he saw you again," Ashley exclaimed with joy as she leaned in and kissed Lucy's cheek, hugging her tightly. Lucy returned the hug with a polite smile. Standing just behind Ashley were Kyle and, further back, Luke. "I'm happy to see you all, but I'm a bit busy. Maybe we can schedule a meetup to catch up," Lucy said warmly. "Of course. I'm so excited," Ashley beamed. "And hey, perfect timing. Kyle and I are getting married next week. I hope you can come. Maybe you can even be one of my bridesmaids. Give me your number, and I'll call you." Lucy accepted the wedding invitation and gave her contact number. "Thanks for the invite, Ashley." "Congratulations to both of you," Lucy said sincerely. "Thanks, Lucy. Maybe fate wants you and Luke to reconnect. I can tell both of you have grown so much." "Honestly, Luke's changed a lot since what happened between you two," Ashley said. Lucy glanced at Luke, who was already looking at her. She quickly looked away. "Really? Well, that's good to hear, but there's no point looking back now. What happened, happened." Before she could finish her sentence, a voice shouted from behind, "Mommy, you forgot to give money to Miss Leslie. We couldn't buy ice cream. Are you going to be long? We want ice cream first before the playground." David and Daniel cried as they ran to her. Lucy froze. The twins ran straight into her arms. "Wait, Lucy, you have kids? 2 of them?" Ashley asked in shock. Lucy didn't respond right away. Yeah. I'm not married," she admitted quietly. "No husband? So, you're a single mom?" Ashley continued, clearly surprised, eyes shifting between Lucy and the twins. "Hi, kids. How old are you? Where's your daddy?" she asked them gently. "We're 6, and we don't have a daddy." "Are you our mommy's friend?" the twins replied innocently. "Yes, we're her friends. You boys are so handsome." "You look exactly alike," Ashley said, charmed. "Wait a second," Kyle muttered, staring at the twins as if trying to remember something. After a moment, his eyes widened. He turned sharply toward Lucy. "Wasn't it 6 years ago when something happened?" "Story time's over," Lucy cut in hastily. "Their dad left us and never came back. Total jerk. Anyway, I've got to go. Ashley, congratulations again." "Call me, okay," she said quickly, grabbing the twins' hands and walking away briskly. Ashley watched her leave, confused. Why did she look so flustered? She asked Kyle. "What were you about to say?" Kyle hesitated, but then spoke. "I was just going to say, wasn't it 6 years ago something happened between her and Luke at your birthday party?" Ashley covered her mouth in shock. Before she could even glance back, Luke had already walked off quickly, heading in the same direction as Lucy. "Let's go after him." "Who knows what'll happen," Ashley said, grabbing Kyle's hand and following. Luke caught up with Lucy just before she reached the exit. "Lucy, wait. Can I talk to you?" he asked as he reached her side. Lucy nearly screamed in surprise. What do you want now? Are you really never going to leave me alone, Luke? What do you want from me? She snapped, nearly losing control. She was relieved Leslie had already taken the kids ahead. I want you to tell me the truth. Is it possible that I'm the father of your kids? Luke asked directly. If you deny it, fine. But let's do a DNA test. If it's negative, I'll disappear for good. I never expected to see you again. But now that I have, I won't waste the chance to find out. Lucy was stunned at his directness. Of course, Luke would piece things together. He was smart. Too smart to not notice the clues. You'll just ruin our lives, Luke. The kids and I are fine. Let it go. Our past disagreements were bad enough. Don't make things worse now, she pleaded. Luke reached for her hand. Believe it or not, my life changed the moment you disappeared, Lucy. I realized so many things. I regret what I did. My pride and immaturity took over. Please forgive me. I've changed. What are you saying? She asked, eyebrows raised. I like you, Lucy. I've felt this way for a long time. That's why I teased you. That's why I fought with you. I acted like a fool after you left. I searched everywhere. Couldn't get you off my mind or out of my heart. Even now, I still feel the same way. Not just because of what happened, but because it's always been there. Lucy's eyes widened. His voice was loud enough that others had started to stare. Keep your voice down. Are you seriously still messing with me even after all these years? Lucy snapped. He's not joking, Kyle suddenly said as he and Ashley caught up. I've seen the change in Luke, and I saw how he looked at you before, even when you fought constantly. Ashley nodded. We're your friends, Lucy. I'm telling you, he's serious. If he is their father, you two need to have a real conversation for the kids' sake. Lucy didn't respond to them. She stared at Luke with a hard expression. Even if the DNA test proves you were their father, I don't need you in our lives, Luke. I can give my kids everything they need, so stay away from us. She turned and walked off. Luke stood frozen, shoulders sagging. He didn't follow. He didn't want to make things worse, but that didn't mean he was giving up. Kyle and Ashley stayed by his side, quietly supporting him. In the days that followed, Luke did everything he could to get close to Lucy again and convince her to agree to a DNA test, but Lucy stayed firm, always refusing. Even Ashley and Kyle tried to talk her into it multiple times, but she wouldn't budge. It wasn't because she was being selfish. She was scared. Scared of what the results might mean. She didn't want to be hurt again, and more than that, she didn't want her children to be hurt either. Lucy, what's this? I'm hearing about a man hanging around the house and asking about you, Daniel asked, his brow furrowed. I'm not sure, Dad, but don't worry. I'll try to talk to him and ask him to stop, Lucy replied calmly. Daniel was about to speak again when they suddenly heard Diane screaming from upstairs. Daniel, help me. Daniel just fainted while he was playing. They rushed upstairs, panic setting in. Manon Leslie was already holding the unconscious boy. Daniel quickly took the child from her arms and headed to the garage with Lucy right behind him, preparing the car. They rushed to their privately owned hospital where Lucy was on duty. I'm sorry, but your son needs a bone marrow transplant immediately, said Dr. Rodriguez, who was handling the case. Is his father available? He'd be the best possible match. You know this, Dr. Lucy. Lucy felt her entire world crumble at those words. Her son was unconscious, and the prognosis wasn't good. Isn't there another way? Can't we try using bone marrow from someone else? Daniel pleaded. We'll pay whatever it takes. Just tell us what to do. What can we do to help our grandson? Diane added, tears in her eyes. Daniel's going to be okay, right? He's not going to die, right? David asked, crying beside them. Prep for the operation, Lucy told the staff, voice steady. I'll bring in the father. What? You found him? Who is he? Diane asked, stunned. I'll explain later, Mom. Dad, I need to make a call, Lucy said quickly. She rushed out to the parking lot to get her phone. She didn't have Luke's number, but she had Ashley's. She quickly messaged Ashley and asked for Luke's contact. Ashley responded right away with the number. Lucy texted Luke to come to the hospital immediately. There was an emergency. Minutes passed. No reply. Just as Lucy was about to give up and go back inside, she heard her name. Lucy! It was Luke, running toward her. Relief washed over her, and without meaning to, tears spilled from her eyes. What's going on? Did I do something? Are you okay? Luke asked, clearly alarmed. Lucy shook her head. I'm not going to hold back anymore. Yes, they are your children, and Daniel needs you now. He needs a bone marrow transplant, and you're the only one who can help him. Please do whatever it takes to save my son. I'll give you anything you ask for. Just save him. Luke was speechless for a second. Then I'll help. Of course I will. Is it happening now? Let's go. Show me where he is. And don't cry, Lucy. Let's fix this. Lucy nodded through her tears. They hurried back inside. Luke immediately began the pre-transplant process. Lucy didn't even get the chance to introduce him to her parents. Right now, saving Daniel was the only priority. Hours passed. Tests, preparations, procedures. Everything moved fast, but carefully. The transplant was successful. Daniel's condition stabilized. Luke, though still unconscious after the procedure, was doing well, too. I can't believe it. Luke Lazaro, he's the father of your kids, Diane whispered as she sat beside Lucy in the hospital room. Both Luke and Daniel lay in separate beds. Lucy nodded. I lied to you, Mom, she said softly. We already knew each other. We hated each other, actually. We were both drunk that night, and something happened. I didn't expect it to lead to anything, but then I found out I was pregnant. And despite everything, I never regretted having the twins. They became my whole world. She gently stroked David's head as he slept, curled up beside her. Diane reached for Lucy's hand. You're not selfish, honey. You did what you thought was right for them. You did everything out of love, and we know how much you've always loved your children. Lucy smiled faintly and nodded. Now that they'll finally get to know their real father. What are you planning to do? Diane asked gently. If it were up to me, I'd marry you off right now, Daniel added with a chuckle, joining the conversation. Luke clearly cares. He wouldn't be here if he didn't know what responsibility meant. I understand what you're saying, Dad, Lucy replied. But please let us figure it out ourselves. We need time. I promise I'll come to you if it ever becomes too much. Daniel thought for a moment, then gave a small nod. Okay, just make sure you resolve things quickly. I heard Luke was engaged to the daughter of some rich businessman. You need to decide soon whether you're going to keep avoiding him or fight for your family. Lucy turned to look at Luke, still unconscious. I'll think about it, Dad. Don't worry. You know I'd do anything for my kids, she said with conviction. The next morning, Daniel finally regained consciousness. Mommy, he's the man David and I helped bring into the hospital. The one who was bleeding, Daniel said as he pointed at Luke lying in the other bed. Why is he here, Mommy? Yeah, Mommy. Is he your friend? Are you okay now, sir? Did they catch the bad guy who hurt you? David asked innocently. Luke couldn't help but smile as he nodded slowly. Yeah, they caught him. And thank you both for not leaving me there in that alley. If you had, I probably wouldn't be here today. Lucy gently patted her sons' heads as they sat beside her on the hospital bed. He's your real dad, she finally said with a soft voice. I know you've always wanted to know him, and I'm sorry I waited this long to tell you. The twins stared in surprise, but their shock quickly gave way to joy. They grinned and jumped toward Luke, hugging him tightly. Luke's eyes welled up. Lucy watched it all in silence. For the first time in years, she allowed herself a moment of peace. To confirm everything, Lucy had a DNA test done. It came back positive. Luke was indeed the biological father. Days passed, and Daniel's condition continued to improve. Luke also recovered fully from the donation procedure and returned to his usual routines. "Thanks for coming to our wedding reception, Lucy," Ashley said as they met at the five-star hotel venue. "Even with everything that happened to your son, you still came." "But wait, are you and Luke here separately?" Lucy smiled. "Daniel's doing better now, and my parents are watching the boys. Luke and I are getting along now, especially when it comes to the kids." "That's good to hear. Luke told me he wants to take responsibility and is just waiting for you to be ready," Ashley replied. "He even called off his engagement to Monica." "Don't worry, that was over before you two saw each other again." Kyle joined the conversation. "It's such a small world, right? I really didn't think you and Luke would ever get to this point, but here you are, working together for your kids." "It's true," Sam chimed in. "From enemies to lovers, I guess it's really true. No matter how far you try to run, if someone's meant for you, fate will always bring you back together." Lucy chuckled quietly. Whether it was a joke or not, her heart felt lighter. She had witnessed how responsible Luke had become as a father. And slowly, she was starting to see the kind of man he truly was. So different from the person she once knew. Eventually, their small group broke off to mingle with the other guests. "So, it's you, Lucy Castro, doctor, daughter of a well-known businessman," a cold voice said from behind her. Lucy turned and saw a woman she didn't recognize. The woman looked her over with judgmental eyes, arms crossed. "Not even that pretty, but Luke left me for you." Before Lucy could respond, the woman added, "By the way, I'm Monica. Luke's fiancée. Well, former fiancée. Even if the engagement was cancelled, I haven't accepted it yet. So, technically, I'm still his fiancée." Lucy sighed. "If you have a problem with Luke, that's between you and him. Don't drag me into it. I'm not interested in drama. Talk to him directly. Don't be immature." Before she could finish her sentence, Monica grabbed a glass of wine from a passing waiter and splashed it on Lucy's black gown. Lucy gasped as the cold liquid soaked into her dress. "That's what you deserve. You don't belong here. Do you really think you can compete with me?" "You'll never win," Monica sneered. Lucy wiped her face, stunned. Then she smiled slightly. "Who do you think you are?" she said, grabbing two nearby chocolate cupcakes and smearing them down the front of Monica's white dress. Monica stood in shock, eyes wide with rage. "You didn't expect that, huh? You came at me first, and now you're upset I fought back. Please don't insult people you don't even know. You think this is about Luke? That's your issue, not mine. I have kids with him. So go figure out how you want to handle that without dragging me into your meltdown." "How dare you!" Monica shrieked, raising her hand to slap Lucy. But Lucy caught her wrist midair. "You start it and then you act like the victim when someone pushes back. That's not how the world works," Lucy said coldly, releasing Monica's arm. "What's going on here, Monica? What now?" Luke appeared at that moment, walking straight up to them. He pulled Lucy away protectively and faced Monica. "We're no longer engaged. You have no right to show up here and cause a scene, especially not with Lucy." "No, Luke. We were supposed to get married. I can live with you supporting your kids with her. Just please come back to me," Monica begged, sobbing. Guests nearby had already begun to whisper, murmurs spreading fast. "Yes, Monica, I hear you. But here's the thing. I don't love you. I never did. Our engagement was a business deal. Lucy is the one I love. So, please stop this madness." Lucy's eyes widened at his public confession. Guests stared. The whispers grew louder. Monica, I'm sorry, but you have to leave. You're ruining our wedding party, Ashley said, stepping in with Kyle. They called security. No, I won't leave, Luke. I can give you everything she can and more, please. But the guards escorted her out despite her protests. Lucy apologized to Ashley and excused herself. Her dress was drenched, and she needed to go home. Ashley was disappointed but didn't stop her. Luke offered to drive her. I'll come by tomorrow for the picnic with the kids, he said once they reached her home. Thanks, Luke. Drive safe, Lucy said, giving him a small smile before stepping inside. Daddy, we're so excited, the twins exclaimed the next day, greeting Luke with big hugs the moment he stepped inside the house. Luke wrapped his arms around them and then walked over to Lucy, handing her a single red rose. She accepted it with a soft smile. Thanks. Wow, Daddy, you're so sweet, one of the boys said. Can't we all just live together in one house now so we can be a real complete family? Don't rush things, kids, Luke said gently. What you're asking for isn't easy, but I'll do everything I can to win over your mom. If she agrees, then maybe one day we really can all live together again. The twins didn't press the issue any further. Lucy simply smiled and stayed quiet. They had everything prepared for a quick picnic by the beach. They also brought Leslie along for extra help with the kids since Lucy's parents were attending to business matters. You should go swim with the boys, Lucy told Luke as they arrived at the beach. I'll take care of setting things up over here. I'll go in later, Luke replied. Actually, I wanted to talk to you. There's something I need to say. He reached into his pocket and placed a small red box in front of her on the wooden table. I know a lot has happened these past few weeks, he began. And I don't want to rush you, but I can't let the moment pass either. Lucy, I want to start over with you. Our beginning was messy, but what we have now, our kids, our connection, I believe there's still hope for us. I've already talked to your parents, he continued. I don't have any family left, so it's just your decision now. Lucy stared at the box. She didn't open it, but she knew what was inside. She picked it up and placed it back in front of Luke. Let's talk about this again after you've completely resolved your issues with Monica, she said calmly. I don't want drama or fights. I'm willing to give you a chance, but you need to clean things up first. Luke nodded with determination. If that's what it takes, I'll do everything to earn your yes. Just then, the twins called out, begging them to come swim. Luke and Lucy didn't resist. They made the most of their day, splashing in the water and laughing with their kids. They were happy, relaxed, and full of joy. As Lucy watched their sons' faces light up, she felt her heart opening a little more. In the days that followed, Lucy grew closer to Luke. He had been consistent, caring, and respectful, traits that hadn't gone unnoticed by her parents. Why isn't Leslie answering her phone? Lucy muttered, frowning as she drove to Luke's house. She had just finished her shift and left the kids with Luke for the evening. Leslie was supposed to be watching them, but she hadn't been responding to any of Lucy's calls. She considered calling Luke, but decided not to. She was already close by. Wait, is that Leslie? Lucy said, startled as she spotted her outside the gate. As Lucy pulled up, her heart pounded at what she saw next. Monica, pushing Leslie aside and grabbing Daniel harshly by the arm. Let go of my brother. I'm telling Daddy and Mommy on you, David shouted, crying. Lucy slammed on the brakes and jumped out of the car. She charged toward Monica and yanked her by the hair, forcing her to release Daniel. You crazy woman! How dare you touch my kids? I thought you were staying quiet, but you really don't know when to stop, Lucy screamed. Monica tried to fight back, but Lucy was stronger and furious. You're the crazy one. Luke canceled our engagement because of you and your brats. If you all had stayed out of his life, we would have been happy, Monica shrieked. You're delusional. You need psychiatric help. Maybe Luke didn't choose you because you act like this, Lucy shot back. Ma'am, please stop. You're hurting each other, Leslie pleaded, trying to break them apart. but Monica kicked her, keeping her away.